You probably see it on my face, but I'm just over the moon. Right now we're in the middle of moving, and so that's not the main reason I'm happy, but like it's a good feeling overall. It is. December is here, and so close to New Year, and then I just got stuff. Oh my god! Embrace change. That is how you keep moving forward. You can't get stuck in the past, or you have to release control sometimes. And this might come off random, but yeah, like I'm in my room right now packing up stuff, and I'm finding like all these old pictures and stuff like that I don't need anymore, but it's still like, wow, look how far we've come. I don't know about you, but I refuse to be stuck somewhere that I don't have to be. It is just so much life out there. You know, happiness starts from within. You can't keep going to look for it in other things and people. I mean, that can help, yeah, but ultimately it's up to you to be happy. Peace and love. I strongly believe that December is the perfect time for releasing, healing. You know, we're literally this close to January, and all that heavy stuff, all that stuff that's like burdening you or making you feel like you gotta stay in one spot or anything holding you back, release it. Release it right now. Because here comes 2023, and a lot of things are changing in 2023. A lot of things are being brought to the forefront. Nothing's gonna be able to hide in January. Well, this new coming year, nothing's gonna be able to hide. You're not gonna be able to hide yourself either. People are gonna see you for who you are. So make sure your heart is right, your mind's right. Lead with love. That's how you get everything you want. You lead with love. The highest frequency is love. If you're able to vibe on that frequency, you are set, really. All things work for you when you work for you. If you got goals in mind, places you want to be, what are you doing every single day to get there? And you have to literally become that person. And I don't mean in like a way of changing who you are, but say you have an ideal version of you. You have an ideal self, like, this is who I want to be in the future. Well, don't you know that the future is in your present? We're in the future right now. The past is in the past, but the present and the future are one and the same. Become the future self now to make the future your reality now. If you keep waiting on this timeline future, like in a couple years, this is who I'm gonna be. Like, I mean, everyone does that. I get it, but it's also like, before you know it, it's gonna be a couple years, and if you haven't already started making those changes to get there, suddenly it's gonna be 5 years later, and you're gonna be like, oh dang. I don't know. But it was. Don't run out of time, because time is an illusion. Stay in the present and know that your future is where you are right now, what you're doing right now, how you feel about yourself right now. Make the changes necessary now. The way I do it is I make those small steps to become that ideal version of me in my head. Okay, like for example, my ideal self likes to eat healthy, for example. If you haven't been eating healthy, start making those changes now. or my ideal self is rich. All right, how rich is your soul? How are you moving? How are you thinking? What are you learning? You want things to change or move forward, you need to be intentional about everything you do. Everything, okay? Did you spend time with yourself today? Did you pour back into yourself today? Are you being productive? Are you being intentional about who you are allowing into your energy? You remember my last video? If you saw it, you know what I was talking about. Are you being intentional about the decisions you're making right now? Don't act out of impulse. Don't act out of fear. Don't act out of anything that's not love. Are you intentionally loving on yourself at this time? And if you're not, how are you going to start? You know, what makes you happy? What makes you feel good? What's gonna bring you peace when no one else can? You need to be able to ground yourself right now. Be able to sit with yourself and be like, okay, self, how am I feeling right now? What's making me feel like I'm being held back, or making me feel weird, or like I'm just, you know? Ask yourself these questions. I don't want anyone to feel like afraid of facing themselves. You deserve to see yourself for who you are, not how other people want to tell you about yourself. Like, other opinions, outside opinions, it's for the birds. And there's so many birds out here. Stop putting on for other people. Be true to yourself. It's gonna get you a lot further. It's gonna make you feel a lot more fulfilled. I think people are starting to see that the old ways of doing things, your old ways of getting by, of the same old, it's not gonna keep working. It's not. You eventually are gonna have to really go within if you want to move forward. It's so important for all of us to trust ourselves. You are worthy of anything you desire, anything you want in this life. You can have it if you put your mind to it. You are not your emotions either. Feel them and learn from them. It's always a Food Network in the background. Oh my goodness. If you know me, you know I'm always watching Food Network. Keep soul searching. Keep soul searching. There is so much of you to explore that you probably haven't even uncovered yet. Oop. Hi. Oop. Invest in a tripod. It's somewhere. Dare to be different. Growth isn't scary. Well, it can be, but that means you're moving in the right direction. You're like, okay, things are looking different. And doesn't necessarily mean anything bad, you know? I think people get so caught up in the familiarity of being in the same spot, being the same self, being like, well, this is just who I am, when they're faced with, it's the word adversity. you know, being reluctant to change, pretty much. And that's because to some people, growth is scary. It's really not. Think about it. You want to grow a garden, you can't just not take care of it. You can't just not water your plants. If you're not willing to put that same energy into yourself, into your projects, into your ideas, you know, focus, really discipline yourself. But if you kind of have an issue with focusing, or just mood, or anything like that, I recommend supplements. Right now, I'm taking this Mucina cognitive support. It's a natural supplement, and yeah, it's gonna help you with your memory, libido, and your mood. And on the back it says you deserve to thrive. Or if you don't want to take that, I think some people have said ashwagandha helps. I haven't started taking this because I'm taking this other thing, but now I have heard that ashwagandha makes you a little sleepy. So, but then again, I also feel like I've also heard some people have taken it like before they sleep, and then they got like the craziest dreams. So yeah, do it. Try things out, okay? Don't take my word for anything. I am not a doctor, okay? I'm not a doctor. Practice gratitude for the things you have right now and for the things that are on their way to you. Know the difference between internal versus external. Sometimes your external environment can reflect your internal environment. For example, if you're like me, sometimes you might be in like a funk up here, and then your room will reflect that. Like you'll look up one day and be like, oh, my room, I need to clean it. You know? And that's a simple example of internal versus external. But to go even further, say for example, you know somebody, or it could be you, who would rather blame how they're feeling, what they're going through, on other people, when sometimes it's actually you and how you're feeling on the inside. And you would much rather blame the outside world for everything, instead of knowing that it's actually you. Oh, you know what? Okay, you ever heard of like the world is full of mirrors? Like people are mirrors to you. Like everyone you encounter, or like people you encounter, could be reflections of you. And mirrors can be distorted, not clear. And these could be like reflections of you, past, present, or future. Oh, I got an example for you. So I always have a work example. I always have a work example. But so there's this 1 week where I was just so angry. I felt so frustrated this week, right? Not this week, but the week I'm talking about. And I didn't know how to get it off of me, and I knew this, but I was wondering, like, why is everyone so this and that? Why is everybody so mad all the time? Why is everybody so... And I got the worst guest ever at work that I had to deal with. He was just so overly aggressive, you know? And I was shook. I was like, why is this man acting like this? He don't know me. He don't know nothing about me. He is projecting. And then I was like, well, whatever the case may be with whatever he's going through, and he's able to just walk around with that type of energy, it made me look at myself. Like, no, I wasn't out here doing the same exact thing, you know? Like, I wasn't just yelling at people and stuff like that. But I could feel that energy on the inside. So it felt like he was reflecting to me what I was feeling on the inside. He was just open with showing it clearly. And it made me be like, okay, so this is how I'm feeling. And what am I going to do about it to get to a more peaceful place, you know? Yeah. So be aware of mirrors. It could even be as simple as to the people you're attracting to you. Like, for example, if you are looking for a relationship or somebody, you know, who is emotionally available, but you yourself are not, you might be attracting other people who are not emotionally available. You know what I mean? Like, anybody got a problem with you wanting to better yourself or be different, be more, be better? Let them go. Release them into the wilds. Seriously. Some people are not meant to come along on your journey. They're meant to be there for a minute, teach you something, and disappear. Alright? Not everyone's meant to be along for the ride. And not everybody gets a seat at your table. Don't get caught up in no mess from here on out. Not doing the gossip, not doing the mind games, no manipulation, none of that. Okay. I don't know why, but I'm hearing that song, I Am Who They Say I Am by Young Boy. I think in that song he was saying, like, people are gonna talk regardless. You just gotta keep being yourself. Do what you gotta do. Be you. Aim for the stars. Aim for the stars. That's what Kevin Gates said in that song. He's still living large. Yeah. And in that way, he's saying, whatever you heard about me, believe it. Because I don't give a damn. Pretty much. So yeah. Let them believe what they want. But know who you are. Act accordingly. Oh, look. Check it out. Little BMO purse. A little double door. Hold on now. How many keychains I got? Look, it's 11. And Thor. He looking kind of rough. He's seen better days. Oh, here you go, Harry, right here. Harry Potter. The chosen one. He was literally the chosen one. That's why he got that scar on his forehead. And he was famous and he didn't even know he was famous. So maybe somebody watching this knows, or you feel it in your soul that you're meant to do more in this life. Chosen ones. Yeah, he was famous before he even knew he was famous. And you know what they did? They hid him in plain sight. They put him in a world where he didn't belong, and he knew that he was different the whole time, but he just couldn't figure out what was so different about him. He had these powers, he had these abilities, and everybody thought he was weird for it. But they put him in this human world, and he knew there was so much more to him. And the people around him really demeaned him, you know, made him feel like he was an outcast, and insulted him as much as they could, took things away from him, didn't really allow him to be who he was. And I think that's a lot of people out there. Like, his path was set in stone for him before he even was born. And they had to remove him from the world of magic because there was enemies he had before he even grew up. He had enemies. They was scared of a baby. He who shall not be named was scared of a baby. So he had to grow up and step into this role, this power that he didn't even know he had. Like, you're a wizard, Harry. Shout out to my dad for getting me all the Harry Potter movies when I was growing up. I binged all those books too. Everyone treated him the way that they did because they didn't see what he had in themselves. Like, they were jealous of his power, of his originality, he's different. His own family treated him the way that they did, like crap, because they were scared of him. He was so different. They didn't know what to do with themselves and how to operate because his presence just disturbed them so much. And it was because they saw the light in him. It even continues once he gets to Hogwarts and that world. I can't remember what it was called. But once he got over there to the world of magic, people were like treating him like he was celebrity. Like he was just, everybody knew him, everybody knew his name. He got the recognition he finally deserved that he couldn't get at home. Legendary hero before he could even become that hero. And yeah, he had big shoes to fill because his parents were amazing, but once he found his footing, his inner strength, and he was able to really embrace who he was, that's when he really became Harry Potter. Oh, and if you haven't seen anything Harry Potter or you don't know much about it, his parents passed protecting him. And in the Muggle world, which was the human world, no powers, regular people, he was placed in that world with his closest immediate family, which was his aunt, uncle, and cousin. And these are all non-magic people. So they just thought he was just like a wild animal that they had to control consistently because they were scared of him. Especially when his aunt, on his mom's side, she didn't get any powers, but her sister did. So she was already looking at her nephew like jealous because he had the magic. And you know what's so funny is he knew he had powers and you know he could do all these things, but he really had to practice at it. You know, which brings me back to the ideal self thing. He had this vision of who he was going to be and who he was supposed to be, but he had to go to school for being a wizard. It wasn't like something like overnight, like, oh, I have all these powers and I can do everything. He had to really practice. He had to learn how to be him. And that's what the school of Hogwarts was. A bunch of wizards in one spot learning different types of magic to better help the world. And along the way he met his friends, Hermione, yes, and Ron. Oh my gosh, it's bringing back all the memories. I love Harry Potter. I do. All right, it's been real. I'm gonna get back to packing. Baby, you my everything. You all I ever wanted. We can do it real big.